All right, here we go. Welcome, dear Gemini. Oops, that's you, Gemini. This is Tarot Lumination with your general report for May 2018. So it's kind of a big deal month as far as I'm concerned for everybody because of this huge shift that's happening. May 15th, we have the Taurus new moon, pretty much the same moment that Uranus moves into Taurus, okay? For the end of a 7-year journey and the beginning of a new 7-year journey for Uranus and Taurus. So we'll go into that in just a second. I've been doing this for all the signs, for all the reports this month because to me it feels like kind of a big deal, and I just wanted to share it with you. Now, let's get to the cards in a second. Let's just get on with this. Okay, hold on. So Gemini, here we are. These are my personal notes, but I'm just sharing them with you. These is Gemini, May 2018. Now, the key moment here, as far as I'm concerned, is May 15th, okay? It's this big shift of Taurus energy. You have the new moon here and Uranus going into Taurus. Now, this is happening over here in what's called your 12th house. Now, this is just personal. My feelings is that 12th house energy in general is some of the hardest to understand, handle, diagnose, interpret, manifest. The way it feels to me here with Uranus and Taurus, think of this as a ticking clock. Tick, 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 tick. That's a 7-year journey, and it's starting right here. It's going to end over here. And in 7 years from now, it's going to end up with you, Gemini, okay? So think of this as a very, very long journey, preparing you for radical changes that are come to happen to you in yourself, your identity, how you see yourself, how others see you in the world. So it's a 7-year journey of preparation right now. And what I feel is going to happen, the real theme here is radical shifts and changes, random, spontaneous, unpredictable shifts and changes in your spiritual values and beliefs. And that in turn will have like an echo effect in like, well, how are we going to implement that in day-to-day reality over here in the 6th house of health and healing and daily practices, daily habits, the refining, improvement, of the tasks of your life, the service of your service to this world, so to speak, and how to do that better and better to higher and higher quality, higher and higher standards, so that you have a happier, healthier spirit and body, and that will in turn set you up for a better level of improvement here when it comes to your actual physical body. When Uranus enters Gemini 7 years from now. I know this is a crazy interpretation here for just one little report from May 2018, but I do see very large, long-term trajectories here, very significant energies happening for you. It could be very hard to understand these things. I'm trying to give you a heads up right now. A lot of random shakeups are going to happen here because in some ways, the 12th house is like the spiritual dumpster of the zodiac, where anything and everything that is not acceptable to you in your conscious waking life gets shoved away, kind of like the kitchen drawer or the attic or the basement or the dumpster or the trash, and you just hope that it just goes away. But sometimes it can get so bad and untended that it can infect and putrefy and contaminate the rest of your life. So it's very, very, very important that we do pay close attention to 12th house energy. Otherwise, it can ruin everything, okay? As beautiful as it can be, you know, in its light side and its most high frequency expression. But the thing is, it's very, very challenging to handle it because it's so diffuse. Anyway, enough. Oh, wait a minute. One last thing. The end of the month. Here we go. May 29th. See if you can read that. Sorry, my writing. May 29th. We have the moon in Sagittarius and sun in Gemini. That's a full moon right on you, right on your 1st and 7th house. This is the relationship axis, okay, over here, Gemini, Sagittarius. So right at the very tippy end of May 29th, you might come to this sort of sense of culmination, whatever has happened to you through the month. Right at the very end of the month, you might see it, how it's culminating and manifesting in ways that would be evident in your most significant relationship, okay? This is not a relationship reading. However, right at the very end of the month, you might just feel it, okay? Also, you're heading into May, which is kind of your season anyway. So it could be a bit of an interesting jolt for you right at the end of the month before you actually get into May. Okay? Let's get on with it. Sorry, if if you need to, you can reach out and come to tarotlumination.com and we can do, we can get into it personally if you want. I'm just suggesting if you need to. Okay. I didn't really suggest that in any of the other reports. I don't know why. I probably should. It's kind of a little business here. And anyway, cards are well shuffled in advance. No jumpers, no flyers, no oracles, no reversals. And because I don't do reversals because I love the cards the way they were originally made, and I think it's kind of rude to turn them upside down. That's just my personal approach. No apologies. Sorry. All right, here we go. We're going to use the Journey of the Heart spread. That is my sort of go-to spread, okay? I don't use a lot of spreads, you probably noticed. Please invite your angels into the reading with you. Tarot Illumination angels are here, and we're just sharing, okay? It's like a team effort, all right? All right, here we go. Let's have a look. So this would be you at the core heart of you. You might not have any awareness of this or understanding of the language or anything because you might not be listening, okay? Because so much of the heart does what it does on autopilot. However, when you truly integrate and align with the heart, with your body and your mind, and bringing the soul into it as well and treating the heart as the center, then nurturing and loving the heart can really lead to improvements in your life and the way it works out. You would notice it gently over an extended period of time. So the heart needs what it needs, it wants what it wants, and it's hoping that you, Gemini, are listening. What are you bringing in with you? Think of this as legacy, your history, baggage, or whatever you've got in your briefcase or your resume, and you're slapping it down on the desk of Tarot Illumination and say, like, well, this is what I got. This is where things are right now. It could be awesome. It could be a mess. It could be very neat and tidy and organized. It could be diabolical. It could be just wonderful. This is the ever-present now, where ideally, in an idealized sense, this is where we would all be all the time, but it's in some ways it's not being possible. It's like the energy of being an artist when they're totally in the zone. Time doesn't exist. There's no sense of past. There's no sense of future. The only thing that counts is now, and that's where you do own your power. And it helps to stay there because that's where your decisions can be most effective. If your decisions are always based on the past and then expectations of the future, then you're operating well below optimal levels. So it behoves you to stay as present as possible and just give yourself breaks now and again, instead of just defaulting to everything and running on autopilot. So it is in the present, it is in the now, where you activate your evolution through the healing power of your decisions, okay? So the question then becomes, how do you make these decisions effectively in such a way that is most loving to you? Love thyself, okay, Gemini? Because that's what's best for you, and that's ultimately what's best for your loved ones and the planet, okay? The whole thing. And in so doing, you create consequences. Now, if you're constantly abdicating your power, giving your power away to a job, an institution, a mate, an ambition, a career, distractions, addictions, or whatever it is, anything to avoid the present, then you really lose out on the ability to activate your own evolution. And all this power disappears. It's just like trying to run your heart on a very flat battery and always having to try and recharge with a very poor quality charger. So when that's not working, anything that goes wrong in your life, you could say, oh, that was fate, it was bound to happen. Anything that turns awesome, you can say, well, it was fated anyway. Now, the thing is, if you stay in the power and you get the chance and you give yourself the chance to make your own decisions, then what does that look like? How does that look like when you're doing a really good job, when you're really, really in the zone of you, totally loving oneself in the most authentic, genuine way, not the narcissism, not the vanity, not the get, have stuff. What does that look like? Also, of course, what does it look like when we mess up, when we are slipping up, defaulting, or deliberately withdrawing the love, being absent? And then over here, what's the momentum like leading into the next heartbeat? So I'm hoping you can see this is a heart shape. Please, please, please use your imagination. And please over here, see this is the very core of you, the heart beating and pulsing, pumping all the nutrients where it needs to go and the waste where it needs to go. Okay? All right, we're going to look at circumstantial energy, and you, Gemini, are going to make the best of it. We have the Three of Pentacles. Now, with the weather energy, to me, it feels like it's external, circumstantial. It's almost like it's nothing to do with you, except it's highly pertinent, highly relevant. And so the best thing to do is make full advantage of the weather, whatever it is. So with the Three of Pentacles here, my feeling is that you're being reminded that you're doing a really good job already, okay? And it's a long-term effort. It's a long-term project. And you don't really know the outcomes yet. You don't really know the end result. It's like it's your very early stages in the construction of a new self. Let's put it that way. A new way of being, a new way of life, and it's going to be happening. The doorway to this is going to be opening in the middle of May. My feeling is around May 15th. That's when the actual official opening of the ceremony occurs. Okay, and it's happening in such a way where, like in Gemini fashion, you're with people and people are with you. And it's working in such a way that you are getting affirmation from your surroundings, your people, that you're doing okay. You're doing as good a job as you possibly can. And in so doing, that gives you the sense of encouragement. Well, I must be doing something right here. I got the skills, I got the talents, got the gifts. So I wanted to say thank you so much for appreciating me and understanding me, and I'll do everything I can to support you on your journey too. Now, excuse me, I have to take care of business. Thanks, we'll catch up later. Bye. That kind of thing, all right? So over here, what's going on at the core heart of you? With the Hanged Man here, my feeling is that the heart is a little bit scared of what it's sensing and what it's feeling coming up here in May and this big life-shifting change. Also, you have to remember, Gemini, that May is like the month before your month. So that typically lights up all the 12th house energy anyway. And for a lot of people, when they're living through that, astrological year, so to speak, and they come to the last few weeks before their birth date, let's say your birth date is here, then when the sun hits about here, it can trigger like a real like downward spiral where everything seems to just like go like somebody switched off the power. And that's normal, okay? That's perfectly normal for this time of the year at the spiritual level, for your body, mind, heart, and soul to say, you know what? We've done it. It's over. It's done. Let's just chill out. Let's just collapse on the floor, just like you run a marathon, a 1-year marathon. It's time to chill, relax, check out, just check yourself into a spiritual mental spa, and because it's all going to start again over here, okay, in Gemini season. So right now it feels to me that for you with the Hanged Man here, your heart energy is saying, please, 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 Gemini, take your foot off the gas pedal and allow us to relax and chill and wig out so that we have a chance to get a new perspective on life coming up, because it's going to be radically different and we're starting right now. There's no point in pretending this isn't happening. It is happening. It's going to change you, Gemini, from the soul upwards, from the pit of your soul upwards, and that's going to have ramifications for the rest of your life, right up to your daily habits uh, going forward. So it's going to be disorienting. The heart is saying, please allow me to be disoriented. Please allow me to completely wig out and get ready for complete reorientation. In other words, you can't force the existing spiritual models and values and beliefs into the next 7-year cycle. It requires a complete like dissolution and allowing yourself to be completely tripped out by the weird feeling and process, and then starting from scratch again. Okay, that's my feeling here. Okay, I'm just conveying this. Tarot Lumination is just doing tarot. It's not fact. It's very subjective. Okay, so you're going to make your own decisions. All right, over here, what are you bringing in with you? Okay, this is much more amplified indication that you're still a work in progress and you're becoming very, very aware. My feeling is that these energies are very, very complementary for you right now This energy here, circumstantial energy, what your heart is craving and asking you to understand, and what you are bringing in with you in your conscious awareness. It feels to me that you're very aware that there something very, very profound is happening to you at the very soul level of your being. And you might not understand what it is, but what you do know is that you do have gifts, you do have talents, you do have resources, and you worked very hard for all of this. But you're also aware that there's an awful lot of what I would say a very long-term extended journey ahead, especially when it comes to health, healing uh, from the spirit, understanding love from the depths of the spirit, not just going to the gym twice a week and then getting the proper juice drinks and everything. Understanding it at the deep soul level, understanding that it's like a purge thing, everything that needs to be revealed in order for healing. So that's literally like doing all the repairs and the maintenance on your soul at the soul level. Anything that is out of alignment at the soul level will be exposed, and you're aware of that. It's like, to me it feels like you're understanding that. It may not be exciting or fun or even pleasing to you. You might be thinking to yourself, man, I just lived through a whole year of this, and now you're telling me, Terra Illumination, we're going to wig out because it's going to start all over again, but at a much more deeper, intense soul level. And Terra Illumination says, yeah, so that makes you feel like, okay, okay, well, if that's how it is, that's how it is, that's going to be, that's the reality of the situation, ongoing. But the thing is, if you make it part of a daily practice, like a healing practice, then it isn't so bad. Like, in other words, bring it on, people. You pretend you're Gemini, I'm Gemini, like, okay, bring it on this month, this week. How are we going to do this? Show me anything, everything that I can handle that needs to be revealed in order that it can be healed and treated and realigned in spirit, so that I can understand how to do that. In fact, in terms of daily reality, please, dear angels, show me the actual strategies, tactics, methods, um, resources, anything and everything that I need to do in order to refine, purify, clarify my life in terms of healthy healing habits according to my soul's need and my heart's need. Thank you very much. Amen. All right. What about the ever present now? Okay. Part of what's happening, my feeling is that you're you're kind of already aware of this. You might not have like the exact spiritual language in the way that we're talking about here at Terra Illumination, but I have a feeling, Gemini, you get it. You understand what we're talking about here. So that puts you in a position in the present, in the now, where to me it feels it's a little bit intimidating for you, where you wouldn't seek out to be this way, but it requires that you're aware that you're going to have to be very, very present, be very, very grounded, very present, very conscious, very here, very much in the now. And in that state of presence, highly refined, that was attained through a lot of work, a lot of spiritual hard work, constant already that you've done over the last few years. We're taking it to the next level now, where one of the most important tools in the present, in the now, is learning how to exercise the healing power of FU, the healing power of no, the healing power of no more BS. The only thing that is acceptable and worthy is what the heart needs, wants, and deserves, okay? That's what I'm feeling here for you. It might not be comfortable, and maybe this is just for May, maybe this is for ongoing. A lot of these reports here for May have to me have felt like they've had a really long-term trajectory, simply because of this particular calendar moment, May the 15th, which is like a grand opening gateway to a whole new paradigm that's going to happen for all of us as Uranus moves into Taurus. And for you, it's at the deepest, most spiritual level. So it's kind of a big deal, all right? And in terms of spiritual growth, being present, being in the now, means being very, very aware of anything and everything that is not suitable for you and saying no to that. It takes a lot of courage to use the healing power of no, okay? So it might be very tempting for you to walk away being balked by this energy of the present, of the now. But on the other hand, you know deep down that it's kind of like, if this is what it takes, then this is what it takes. A lot of people don't like using the healing power of no because they don't want to be unpopular. They don't want to be judged or be thought of as somebody who's mean or harsh or and everything. So a lot of people give away their power in order to like go along to get along, or they get along in order to go along, or in order to belong. And that's a very, very classic formula for systematically undermining and giving away your power. And that's not acceptable here in the present, in the now. As tough as that might be for you to understand and accept, I think deep down you know that. And the question is, how astutely are you going to maintain your presence in the now at this kind of frequency, at this kind of level? Let's have a look, because it is in the now where you get the chance to exercise and express your power through the healing function of your decisions. Okay. With the King of Cups here, this is to me an indication that this is going to require you to attain newer, higher levels of emotional mastery, more than you've ever done before, which means you're going to have to look at yourself and almost like analyze yourself, almost like having your own personal private, like how a lot of cool hip people have these like cool watches that measure all their pulses and breathing and their sugar levels and every kind of metric you can possibly imagine regarding health and healing. And imagine you have one of these things strapped onto your wrist all day, every day. To me, it feels like you're going to have to train yourself to operate like that so that you become much more acutely aware of the emotional dynamics and the ups and downs as you conduct yourself through life, and realize how a lot of your decisions are made according to the way you feel or the way you think at that moment in terms of reflex behavior, which is often triggered by fear. Okay? And instead, we're taking charge, taking ownership of that and realizing, aha, I felt really, really scared at that moment. But is that my truth? No. The King of Cups is saying, no, I was just scared. I refuse to be owned by the fear of that emotional current that made me feel scared. And instead, I'm going to take charge of it and own that, and then make a conscious, deliberate decision. And if I have to, use the healing power of no, in order to evolve and love myself properly, as weird and trippy and unnatural as this might feel. So how do you do that? It's very, very hard to do. So how do you do that effectively? Okay, you tap into your gifts and natural resources that you have already. In other words, like a go-to. Just work with what you know. Pretend this is like your amazing, like super advanced spiritual monitoring metric dial gadget thing, and it can tell you anything and everything you need to know at that moment in time. And it's telling you right now, like your emotions and your thoughts might be saying, oh no, I need to hang out with these cool people. But your soul is saying, you know what? You're wasting your time there. You might be better off doing something very much more self-loving, focus on yourself. Maybe you've got a lot of repairs and maintenance to do at home or on your soul, your spirit, whatever it is. And you realize, oh my gosh, my heart, my soul knew that all along. I have the gift, I have the talent, I have the resources to be able to understand that. Like you start to learn and understand your own advanced app system. And every time you improve, you recalibrate the spiritual GPS app that you have now bolted onto your wrist. And that becomes the new standard. And that is going to happen systematically, but randomly and unpredictably through this period. And you're going to, my feeling is you're going to get a glimpse of this, the very first glimpses of what this is going to feel like for the next 7-year journey, starting here in May. Okay, so it's in other words, it's a reminder here to like, please understand that you have a lot of gifts and talents already. You've done a lot of work on yourself already. There's still a lot more to do. The journey never ever stops. It's just that this is a very high pressure journey in the place where there needs the most love and care and attention, in the 12th house. Because this is the big preparation. This 7-year journey is the big preparation for when Uranus hits Gemini, because that's a whole other story. All right. This is just one tiny little reading for May, okay? But to me, it feels far-reaching. So let's just say you figure this out. You understand, like, oh, okay, TL, so this is like a formula. All right, okay. Well, I got to get my gadget. Only you can get your own gadget. You have to like invoke it from up above. Please ask for the healing power of love to fill your body from up above, fill your mind from up above, fill your heart from up above, and fill your soul from up above. And ask for like an invisible secret gadget to be strapped onto your wrist that will be your soul monitoring system. And then check in with it regularly. Always listen very carefully, no matter how weird it is, and stick to your dignity and mastery and not let yourself be swayed by the emotional chaos and currents around you. Gosh, I'm sorry this is taking a long time to read. Pardon me. So what happens is you create consequences, okay? You start creating the energy of soulmate energy, where I feel like this has happened a few times before, where you end up learning how to become your own best soulmate to yourself, okay? Which makes you very appealing to others in that department too, because this is very, very truly loving. The idea of being a truly loving person, someone who truly, truly loves themselves, sends out this amazing aura, which can be very appealing and attractive to other people who are operating on these very high frequencies, these soulmate relationship energy type frequencies. Just remember, this is not a soulmate reading, okay? This is genuine spirit and heart pulsing type of reading. You can get a relationship reading on the other playlist for love and relationship for May. So what happens when you screw up and like you lose the courage, you lose the power, you abdicate your power, you get lazy or you forget. Okay, you lose all control, you lose all steerage. It's almost like you're turning into a roadside ditch and you get stuck in the mud. Okay, however, when you do stay in your dignity, your mastery, and your power, no matter how disorienting it might be, according to your existing redundant paradigms, you take control, you take ownership, and you get back into your state of power. And you actually get the physical feeling, sixth house, in your body where you know you are in command. You know you are steering your own ship and you're doing it the right way. It doesn't mean you've reached the destination. It means you're on the journey and you're doing it incrementally in the Uranian manner. So in other words, you might not understand how and why this is happening, but you know it. You will know it and feel it instinctively deep in your soul that you must be doing something right to keep your the vehicle of your life on track, on path, and not skidding off path. So what does that look like in terms of momentum for the next beat? Okay, look at that. You become an inspiration for yourself. It's like all of a sudden you start looking at your spiritual GPS monitoring system and you realize, holy bleep, Terra Illumination, this stuff works. Dang, that's freaky. Okay, so that's kind of cool for you, Gemini. But it doesn't work and then one time you think, okay, I figured out how life works. That's the end of it. All I can do now is just chill and go back to my old ways. No, there's no going back here. To me, what it implies is that you are on a pathway to achieve higher levels of spiritual mastery, especially deep soul healing, and then finding ways to turn that into practical applications in your day-to-day life to the point where you literally um, get to live by example, where you become an inspiration to yourself, number one, self-loving here, and that becomes an inspiration to others. Literally, this is literally like the healing power of love in action. So if you understand, from my perspective as your reader, that love is as love does. Love is the willing, deliberate, conscious decision to extend yourself above and beyond your existing comfort zone, allowing yourself to wig out if you have to, in order to foster and nurture uh, the spiritual health and well-being and love and growth of yourself and coincidentally, incidentally, the loved ones, your loved ones around you. And that fosters love. Love breeds love. So it's like a plant, okay? You don't have to go out and save the world. You have to love yourself first and then take care of that immediate stuff around you. And the rest will take care of itself, okay? And then it becomes a formula. And then you can start to learn it as a plan, as a party trick, or as a daily practice, a very loving sixth house scorpionic daily practice, transformational healing. Starting at the soul level and then actually being activated in your day-to-day life over here. Okay, so there you go. So I hope this works out for you. I hope you get something out of this and it makes some kind of sense for you. If not, watch your sun, moon, and rising, and maybe one of the others will resonate more strongly. Thank you so much for choosing Terra Illumination. I wish you all the best in May. Bye-bye.